They've both been here before, but never on opposite sides. A personal relationship eclipsed by a century of history. And now the student is home, looking to start his own legacy. Will the student become the master? If so, then it begins tonight. Yeah, you can call it bias, or what history calls it, dominance, supremacy, dynasty. Damn straight. It's volatile and uncertain, intense and unknown, difficult and ultimate. It's about how much it means, why it matters, when it counts, and from where it comes. You know what, man? Enough talk. It's game time.
College football mecca, Atlanta. Frigid tonight. Her streets eerily quiet. But inside the modern marvel of Mercedes-Benz Stadium, it's overheated, raucous, and ready for the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. The Georgia Bulldogs, hungry to taste the school's first title in 37 seasons. The Alabama Crimson Tide driven to strengthen a decade-long dynasty with a 5th title in 9 years. And welcome, Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. We are so proud to bring you the championship game, year 4 of the playoff era. It's about to get crazy in here. This is going to be wild with Georgia just down the road here, Kirk. Georgia and Alabama separated largely by the Chattahoochee River, but like neighbors that don't visit each other that often, just 3 previous meetings in a decade. They're both from the SEC, and we know that's a flashpoint for quite a few of you, offsetting what was otherwise a down year for the conference. About half the programs in this league are in transition or turmoil, but you can't argue these two teams earned their way here.
Yeah, it's not really about necessarily looking at it as a conference. When you look at the bracket, it's about the 4 best teams. I think a lot of us agree they put the 4 best teams in. At the end of the day, Georgia's got to beat Oklahoma in double overtime, which they did. And obviously Alabama showed a different attitude, healthy, attacking the line of scrimmage, and they took care of Clemson. And so here we are, 2 teams that happen to be from the same conference in a year where the SEC collectively is down. But these 2 teams won in the playoff. They deserve to be here tonight.
Yeah, Saban wants that same angry energy tonight. All 4 championships he's won at Alabama have come with Kirby Smart on his staff. But now in year 2 at Georgia, Smart is trying to do what no former Saban assistant has done. Pull that sword out of the stone. Break the hold that Saban's had on his ex-assistants. McElwain and Dooley couldn't do it at SEC rivals.
Yeah, Dooley with his orange pants in Knoxville couldn't get it done. You look at the rest of these coaches, some of them defensive. Will Muschamp, Mark D'Antonio, Jimbo Fisher this year in this stadium with Florida State. Of course, he's now at Texas A&M. And there's Kirby saying, all right, I'm ready to take my shot right here.
He's been in the weight room, hasn't he?
He has, doing some squats, it looks like.
So both teams, it's no coincidence that Georgia is built like Bama. I mean, they've got a stout defense. They've got a powerful running game. 2 senior captains, best friends, roommates, combined 6 touchdowns in the Rose Bowl.
Well, Thunder and Lightning is what they're really referred to by their own fan base. And Thunder would be Nick Chubb. He is such a powerful runner, a veteran guy. We saw that on display in the Rose Bowl where you could see how many yards he had after contact. He had a great game. This is maybe a turning point in the game when he ran through those tackles, got into the end zone. And then Lightning. Sony Michel, who had a wonderful game in the Rose Bowl, got out in space. He can go the distance in a hurry. I don't know if he's going to clearly have the same opportunities against Alabama, but with the way Alabama plays defense, Michel will have to make some big plays, and they're going to have to try to get him out in space. Another huge factor tonight. All week you've heard about this is a line of scrimmage game. It's going to be an old school physical game. In my opinion, the quarterback play for both teams. Jake Fromm is a true freshman. Now, we've not seen a true freshman win the national championship since 1985, Jamel Holloway. He's got to be sharp tonight with his decisions and also very accurate against a great defense.
Fromm is a prodigy. He's a small-town Georgia kid from the central part of the state. He's tough to fool, but Saban will try his best to do that. Once again, the foundation of this team He's going to try to win a 6th national championship, tie Paul Bryant, and what has been the constant stout defense. Despite a bunch of injuries, they're still #1 in the country in most of the categories.
Incredible what this team has done, considering the injuries. That very first game on this field against Florida State, they had a lot of guys knocked out. That team kind of carrying on throughout the year, but they placed people in there. They grew up, they matured, and I thought last week it's the best they've looked all year. They're going to set their edge on the outside, force Georgia back to the interior, kind of the teeth of the defense, and that's the strength of this defense tonight, especially against Georgia. So you think the answer is, all right, Georgia, get the ball to the outside. That's what Clemson tried. Nope, too fast at the linebacker spot. As you'll see, Mac Wilson tonight, Rashaan Evans running around, and this is a big part of the game. 3rd down for Jake Fromm. They'll give you a lot of different looks. In this case, they brought one more than Clemson could handle. You can see it affected Kelly Bryant all night long. And so you want to put Jake Fromm, if you're Georgia, in those 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4. It's called staying on schedule. You do not want to put him at 3rd and 9 all night. That's what happened at Jordan-Hare in the first matchup against Auburn, and it really cost him.
Calling defense is Jeremy Pruitt. He's the new head coach at Tennessee. But he's going to try to do what Smart did, was win a championship in his farewell at Alabama. Jalen Hurts came close to winning a championship his true freshman season. What's the challenge for him tonight?
The challenge is taking care of the football. He's got to be able to continue to do what he's done all year. 1 interception all season. His offensive coordinator, Brian Dable's done a very good job of kind of calling the game, kind of complementary to the way the defense and the special teams typically give Bama an edge. That's what he did against Clemson. Tonight, I think his feet, his ability to scramble on third down, and definitely being part of the running game will be a big key for Hurts tonight.
Yeah, Dable comes from the Belichick, Tom Brady school. They are risk averse. That's why they only have 1 interception. Is that going to be good enough tonight? We'll see. Here come the Tide. Alabama fans travel, and they consider Atlanta their home away from home. But our best estimate, it's about 70-30 Dogs fans in here tonight. Let's go to time with Nick Saban.
Chris, thank you very much. Coach, for all the times you've been in these big games, you say you never really know if your team is ready or how they'll play. What's the first indication, Nick?
Well, I think the most important thing is whatever the emotional level is, the players cannot get, the mental clutter cannot be a part of it. You got to have the discipline to execute and do your job, do it with a lot of intensity, and that's what got us here, and that's how we got to play today.
Good luck to you tonight, Nick.
All right, thank you.
Let's go to Maria.
Thanks, Tom. Coach, your team has made it to the biggest stage in college football. What was the final message you wanted to deliver before they took the field?
Play with passion and energy. Hunker down one more time, dogs. That's what we want them to do. We want them to go out there and lay it on the line.
You get the ball first. What's the key to a fast start on offense?
Get some first downs, get the ball moving, get some confidence.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Brett.
No different, is it? To be the boss back at your alma mater, where you're an all-SEC defensive back, as opposed to being on the staff of Nick Saban. Line drive kick, just barely a touchback and not out of bounds. So here comes Jake Fromm, took over his first start at Notre Dame, and look how good he's been in the 2 postseason games, Kirk.
Yeah, incredible right here in this stadium against Auburn in the SEC championship. And you and I were there at the Rose Bowl, made so many good decisions, especially late in that game, to give the Bulldogs a chance to win in double overtime. And now this is his final test of the season. Find out how he responds, because he'll be hit more tonight than probably any game that he's playing. I want to see how he responds to that.
Both of those senior captains in the game, Chubb and Michel, flanking Fromm. Chubb in the flat, hit, fights through the initial tackle, works hard just to lose 1 yard. Deontay Thompson, the safety, there in a hurry.
This Alabama defense plays with a lot of emotion, especially early in the game, to just try to set the tone and send a message. They play a 3-4. Deshaun Hand looked healthy last week. Deron Payne is very, very physical in the middle, and Isaiah Buggs was quick as well. And the 4 linebackers, watch Rashaan Evans, 32, and Mack Wilson in the middle. Chris mentioned Jennings is out, meaning Terrell Lewis and Christian Miller will need to step up.
2nd and 11. From the pocket delivers a long throw near sideline, and Terry Godwin, the junior from here in Georgia, makes the catch in front of Minkah Fitzpatrick, number 29.
All we talked about all week was this is a line of scrimmage game. They're going to run the football. Who's going to be more physical? Georgia knows they can't play in a phone booth. They've got to spread this dominant defense out of Alabama's and try to get them out in space with their skill.
How crucial will these 3rd down plays be tonight? Dogs need 6. From straight back, pressure up the middle. Hit as he throws. A downfield shot. And coming back. Wins a battle, but it's picked off as Tony Brown went up and just took it away from the receiver.
Ball is underthrown, but still looked like Wims might make a catch. He's in the slot on the inside. Look at that. Brown goes down. He's beaten. Ball is underthrown. Brown, give him credit. He never gave up on it. The experience, you can see he finds the football and then he fights for it and rips it away from Wims. The reason Fromm didn't get a lot on that ball, Chris, 3rd down, a lot of pressure. As he threw it, he got hit. So it's easy to say he's young quarterback in this kind of game. Why didn't he lead him? But he got pressure, so the pressure helps lead to an underthrown ball and eventually an interception.
Tony Brown, a senior from Texas, up and down career. It's his first pick of the season. So Jalen Hurts and the Tide take over after the takeaway at their 36. Davian Harris motions out. And now comes back. And they hand it to him. And the Tide's top running back trying to get the edge. He's going to be strung out and knocked out of bounds there. The corner, Aaron Davis.
Well, Jalen Hurts is a true sophomore, 25-2. This looked like the game-winning play potentially before Deshaun Watson led the Tigers down and eventually raised that trophy up. But Hurts has had moments as a quarterback. The best thing you can say about him is mobile, has a strong arm, and he's a winner.
On the handoff, Robert Foster ends around, slips a tackle, gets the edge, and the Tides move the chains here. We saw that iPhone wallpaper for a year after losing that heartbreaker to Clemson. Jalen Hurts kept that reminder on his phone. He changed it, though. He changed it up after they beat the Tigers in the revenge game.
After all those weeks, he and the team finally got revenge. Much like Georgia, trying to get the ball to the perimeter, to the outside. That time they were able to outflank the Georgia defense.
Hurts still got it, flips it short. Calvin Ridley, the Tide's best receiver, was open and dances out of bounds near the marker before Malcolm Parrish forced him out.
Well, we showed you what Alabama does defensively, and the same can be said for Georgia. Kirby Smart brought that system over from Tuscaloosa, played that same 3-4. Watch Tyler Clark, number 52, great player, along with Ledbetter on the edges. These are the guys that have to play well. Bellamy and Carter on the outside, being able to contain this speed, and also the physicality in the inside from Carter and Roquan Smith, the leader of the defense.
Hurts, a design run. This is what he does best. Muscles into the secondary, and the Tide set up at the Dogs 31.
It's just a quarterback power play, like an inside zone where you just want to let your quarterback be able to read, eventually find a crease and cut back. Watch how this offensive line pushes, and there's the cutback crease. He has instincts of a tailback, and he's 6'2", 225 pounds. He's a man when he pulls the ball down to run.
Harris and Jacobs now flanking Hurts. And this is a handoff to Josh Jacobs, the Tulsa, Oklahoma back who overcame some early season injuries. Roquan Smith, it was 3-on-3 there, and the linebacker got him.
He's got great speed on the perimeter. Probably his greatest strength is running down ball carriers when they bounce to the outside. It looked like Jacobs, who's pretty quick himself, had a chance to get to the corner, but inside out, Roquan Smith is able to chase him down.
Pick the center. Brad Bozeman is pumped up 3 times. He's given Hurts a high snap already.
Ridley alone up top. Real difference maker in the passing game for Alabama.
Parrish is on him. Hurts looking that way. Kirk throws it for the end zone, but over the head of Ridley. And Parrish had fallen down. That's on Hurts.
He had him. He had him, and they're going to go back to that. Ridley's one of the top receivers in the entire country, and they have him matched up on exactly who they want in Parrish, 14. He falls. He's undersized, by the way, at 5'10", and Nick knows that they missed on an opportunity there. Even if he doesn't fall, Ridley's going by Parrish for a chance to have a touchdown.
3rd and 8 again.
Do they spy him here after the scramble?
Well, they're going to put him on the move. Hurts retreats, chased, flips it, incomplete. A changeup, and that was the speedy, and I mean speedy, linebacker Lorenzo Carter giving chase.
That is his job, to get to the outside. Has such great length. 6'6", 245 pounds, and has tremendous speed to be able to chase down Jalen Hurts and force him to just throw that ball away.
Carter at 6'6", the man who got the long arm up there to block the field goal in double OT. Andy Papanassas grew up an Alabama fan, played at Ole Miss, and now back here for his senior season. Very reliable from short distance. The timing was off, and that was ugly from the start. I know what you're saying, announcer's curse, but that just was not well executed at all. Either of those attempts, the false start and then the snap.
Yeah, he did not look comfortable. He was out of rhythm from the start. I don't know if it's just the jitters, the hype of this big of a game, and Kirby Smart and the Georgia defense catch a break and get a little bit of momentum here early in this game.
Tide moving 42 yards, but come up empty. He's like a 3 technique. You know, low dog wins, right? They coach it. 62 pounds, 4-year-old. I'll get 10.
Yeah. I love it. Got the uni on, looking good. Look at this. First 7 plays tonight. Put the ball in the hands of Jake Fromm. You're talking about an offense that's 70% run on the season, and so far 7 pass plays and no runs.
Yeah, you got 2,000-yard backs. Haven't touched it in the run game yet. This time it is Nick Chubb, and he's got a little crease, and he shows you that thunder, that strength, and that's a win against Bama's front.
Oh, yeah. They got a good push in the middle. He got up to the 2nd level and was able to pick up some yards. It's a smart, I think, approach by Jim Chaney, who is a great offensive coordinator, been around for a long time, and he's smart enough to realize, listen, we can't line up in just our traditional 2 tight end formation, let Bama be in a big defensive look and try to run into them. I think it was smart to open it up early and give Alabama some different looks.
Unbalanced line here. Chubb is the back. They pitch it to him running to the boundary. Makes a cut, but boy, the Tide close it down quickly. That's Terrell Lewis, who's got big shoes to fill. He's in for the injured Jennings tonight.
Well, he does a good job right here of coming down and then getting to the outside. They're running right to Minkah Fitzpatrick. They know he's a great defender against the pass, but they try to go against him defending the run. He contains it, forces Chubb back inside, and there's the big man, Terrell Lewis, cleaning it up. Nice play.
Dogs 0 for 2 on 3rd down. Need 5 this time.
Watch how Alabama gives this offensive line a lot of looks. They disguise their pressure with their linebackers and Minkah Fitzpatrick.
It's a run on 3rd and 5, and Sony Michel gets the 1st down before Mac Wilson could wrestle him down. Good call.
Sony Michel says, hey, what about me? I got a little thunder to me. I'm not just lightning. He lowers his shoulder here. Left tackle win, helps on the double team, and he runs right through Mac Wilson with that extra effort right there to get across the 1st down marker. Great effort by Michel.
He's 215. He's the guy that had 3 touchdowns, then fumbled Oklahoma with the scooper and score to take the lead, redeemed himself with that wild dog touchdown in double OT. Hesitation, Michel again. And he is not going to get the edge, but a positive 1st down gain again.
I think he fits in better on how you want to try to go after Alabama because he's so sudden. They're going to mix Chubb and Michel back and forth. But I think because the room to work as a back against this defense is so tight that you need that extra gear to pick up and accelerate upfield to get an extra 2, 3, and 4 yards. He's got man coverage. Sliding the protection to the right.
From the pocket, delivers a high throw. It's caught. Finally, that's Javon Wims after a couple of drops. Makes the catch. Or check it, that's Riley Ridley.
Bama's right side does a good job of coming in and getting pressure. Fromm just kind of slings this ball and gets the ball out quickly.
They're playing quickly. A downfield throw. It's one of those back shoulder fades that Fromm likes so much. Wims couldn't come up with it. It was just the 9th catch for Calvin Ridley's little brother this season.
They go hurry up to try to prevent Nick Saban from being able to change his personnel. Remember, in college football, if you don't change offensively your personnel, you decide to go fast, the defense, they can't change their personnel. And they can try, and they can get maybe called for a penalty with too many men on the field. Georgia's going to try to do that all night because Alabama constantly likes to change their personnel.
Yeah, the Dogs sub, so the Tide had some time to get fresh bodies. And Fromm is chased and sacked by Anthony Averett off the corner. Not often confused, Kirk, but he was that time.
And this one surprised him. It's a little bit of a different look. You're used to seeing Fitzpatrick here coming, and you wonder if one of the tight ends might have needed to kind of recognize that and get back and help him on his backside. Somebody messed up, really unexpecting the blitz from Everett, and they create another long 3rd down situation for Georgia.
It was a promising drive. Now they're back in their own end, facing 3rd and 20. Gotta hurry. Just get it off. And it's a 3rd and long run. Can Michel create some magic? He gets the edge and tight ropes into Alabama territory. Sony Michel, Rose Bowl hero, makes the first big offensive play tonight.
We just talked about what he can do and how quickly he can get to the outside. Watch the block he picks up right there. Just enough of a block to be able to affect Levi Wallace. It was by Riley Ridley, picks up just enough of Wallace to give him the room to get to the corner and eventually pick up that 1st down.
DeAndre Swift, the freshman, is now the tailback. Excellent receiver. They fake it to him. Swift in the middle. Fromm was looking that way and now tries to escape. And he'll be tracked down. Christian Miller, the linebacker, got him a few yards behind the line.
He had Nada quickly right off of the play fake. But as Nada continued downfield, he was covered by Ronnie Harrison, the safety. And Fromm actually looking off to his left when he dropped back there. Pretty good defense. Nothing he could do if he wasn't ready for the quick throw to Nada. No one else open.
They don't use the tight ends too often. And Charlie Werner, who made an impact early in the Rose Bowl, out of this game with a lower leg injury. So it's got to be Nada. Michel, that time, stuffed right at the line. Swift, excuse me.
That time, that defensive line again. It is a mismatch up front, especially in the interior with Payne and Isaiah Buggs, and Raekwon Davis sets up another 3rd down.
Scoreless first quarter, 64 yards for the Dogs, 53 yards for the Crimson Tide. Expected defense tonight. We're getting it so far. End of 1 in Atlanta. Back after these messages. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship presented by AT&T on ESPN. Start of the 2nd quarter here. College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Dogs on the move. 13th play of this drive coming up, Kirk, and it's going to be 3rd and 11.
Alabama gets their dime package in, meaning 6 defensive backs. We saw Georgia run the ball in that 3rd and 20. They get 3 receivers down here at the bottom along with a tight end.
And it's Michel to Fromm's right. They pick up the pressure. Another 3rd down run. Didn't want to risk perhaps taking a sack and moving the field goal attempt back. Michel tackled at the 24 by Terrell Lewis.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. I mean, you take a risk with as much as Alabama pressures on 3rd down. You drop the quarterback back there. You potentially get out of field goal range. This way you run the ball. It's a safe call, and you try to get the first 3 points of the game.
Here's my guy, Kurt. Rodrigo Hot Rod Blankenship, the sophomore from Marietta, booted a career-long 55-yarder in the Rose Bowl. Key play after a squib kick just before half. This from 41. And Blankenship does what Papanastos could not. puts Georgia on top. Man given a scholarship before he kicked the game winner at Notre Dame. Puts Georgia in front by 3. Josh Jacobs, Trayvon Diggs are the return men for the Tide in the end zone. And Blankenship has really improved his kickoff range this year. Just boots it deep. It'll be a touchback. Harris, a first down carry. What do you make of that? Minkah taking an active role early on.
Yeah, I think it's his leadership. You know, it's not necessarily that he's jumping up and down emotionally. I think he's still very calm and cool and collected the way he's been his whole career. But I think he senses urgency and how important it is for Jalen Hurts and the offense to step up. With Damian Harris flanked off to the right of Hurts.
He comes in motion. Hurts running all the way. Sidesteps a couple of tacklers. Works hard to get a couple yards before DeAndre Walker brought him down.
They're doing a good job of really, as we said at the beginning of the telecast, loading up against quarterback run. The +1 quarterback run game is a big factor when you face Hurts. Georgia knows that. They're up against him and Harris from running, willing to leave their corners on islands.
Last 2 rushes, no gain for Hurts. 3rd and 6 from the pocket. Hit as he throws, and it's underthrown, but Ridley is not going to be able to come up and get it. Hurts picks himself up off the rug. The pressure caused that incompletion by Ledbetter.
Well, Ledbetter's been seen a couple times. Just a punch here to get around Jonah Williams. The left side of the offensive line. He beats the Bama's best offensive lineman. And Calvin Ridley beat Malcolm Parrish again. And that's why he was so frustrated. He wants the ball in his hands. He wants to make a play.
Targeted 3 times. The 1 catch for 9 yards so far for their top receiver. Scott. It's that long leg swinging. That's just a thing of beauty watching him punt the football. Hardman backtracks. Going to have a chance for the 15. Michel Hardman. He's got speed. He's also got great moves. We've got 2 flags on the field on the return though. Drops back, flips it incomplete. That was Payne who just had the penalty, but from an inaccurate throw. You feel he's got to run more tonight?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big part of it. You know, they typically sprinkle it in here and there. They did that in the Rose Bowl against Oklahoma. But boy, you know, keep in mind, this guy was in high school last year. He's getting ready for the prom last year. And here he is on this stage in the national championship. And right now it looks like he's been here his whole life.
Yeah, it does. He did the same thing in Houston County as a freshman. Came in and just ran the show.
Yeah, no big deal. Played in the Little League World Series, played shortstop, hit home runs, just what he does.
On 2nd and 10, it's Michel who picks his way, earns a yard, but now it's going to be another 3rd and long coming up.
You know, we kind of went past that, but the drop there by Payne. This offense that started at their own 20, they came out with that quick huddle, boom, big play to Swift. Nice run by Fromm. They were the aggressor. They were attacking Bama. Bama kind of hands on their hips, looking over at Coach Saban and Jeremy Pruitt, losing some of their aggressive nature, and then Payne drops the ball on 1st and 10. Now they're looking at a 3rd and long. Really hurt the momentum that they had created on this drive. And see if Fromm can bail them out on 3rd and long.
Top receiver Chris Wims, number 6 to the left, hasn't caught a pass yet. Fromm took a look downfield. Now checks it down. It's complete. And it's Ridley. Little brother making a big impact before Calvin does. Dogs are set up.
Well, nice job of protecting the quarterback. And look at the middle. Look at this nice passing lane open up the middle of the defense. Mack Wilson and Minkah Fitzpatrick, who is down as a defensive back playing that dime linebacker. They're reading the quarterback's eyes, playing zone. He did a good job of looking him off, opening up the middle for Ridley.
They fake the end around, and now Fromm flips it, lofted in the air. It's Michel Hardman, the receiver. You know, Calvin Ridley said something interesting. No communication with his little brother during the game of the week. That shows you how businesslike the Tide receiver is. Riley's given name is Calvin. It's too close to Calvin, right? Wanted to be his own man, so that's why he's changed it to Riley. You got 2 younger brothers too.
You got the brothers, and then you have so many connections with the coaching staffs, knowing the players. I mean, it really is an interesting matchup between these 2 teams.
You would not have thought that Riley would make an impact play before Calvin did in this game. That's an upset. Fromm again making one of those changes. Does this so well. Got to hurry though. Swift. Powers, short game before Fitzpatrick wrestled him down. You like those changes from one play to one play that the coaches just praise Fromm for.
Well, and again, I think in college football today, how often do you see quarterbacks looking over to the cards to get not just a play call, but a lot of times the audible or the adjustment. Once the coaches see the defensive alignment, quarterbacks a lot of times are looking over. Not with Jake Fromm. His prep work allows him to make checks, get out of a bad run play into a good run play, not just run to pass, run to run. Comes the blitz late.
Dogs need 6. They're in field goal range. From downfield, there is Wims going up and making his first catch. He beat Averett. That is his favorite route, quarterback and receiver.
And the back shoulder fade over the years. We've seen this hurt Alabama. Everett never able to see the football. Let's take a close look at this with Wims. Comes down with his hand and his right foot in bounds. Great call by the officials. Hand counts, but he also had the foot down. And a nice back shoulder fade by Fromm and a good adjustment by Wims.
Chubb. Nothing. Spun down by Payne.
We're halfway through this second quarter, and this game's starting to play out the way we thought. Field position being big. When you get opportunities like Georgia has right now, you better capitalize. Kirby Smart, you just don't know how many opportunities you're going to get. A touchdown for Georgia is big, and for Bama's defense, a stop. The margin of error throughout this game is going to be so slight. So what happens in the red zone for both teams? Very significant to the outcome of the game.
And not many bigger challenges than facing Bama. First and goal from back at the 10. Fake it to Michel. Fromm throws a slant, inaccurate. It was Wims cutting in and covered by Wallace. Third and goal.
Now, Wallace with good coverage does a nice job of taking the inside leverage away from the bigger receiver in Wims, anticipating that inside throw. Now it's a big play for both, like just talked about.
Fromm has 2 third down completions on this drive, Kirk. Got Ridley for 23 and a 3rd and 8. Had Wims on that 3rd and 6. A little tougher down here, though, isn't it?
Empty set. Now they're going to move Swift back there, or actually Michel back in there.
Fromm flushed, backpedals, and delivers a dangerous throw over the middle. He was knocked down. Michel frustrated. That was behind him, but read at the pressure by Payne and company.
Lewis is coming in. He's throwing it off his back foot. And the reason Michel's frustrated is he knew that he was able to slip out of the backfield unnoticed. And if Fromm had just a little bit more time, he's able to get that ball to Sony Michel, and Michel walks into the end zone for a touchdown. Give Terrell Lewis credit for getting in there and forcing Fromm to get rid of that ball.
Blankenship again from 27. Georgia had that 1st and goal. 3 plays, netted nothing. And Blankenship remains perfect on the season inside of 40 yards.
Be interesting. The last 8 plays for Bama, 10 yards they've totaled. And Jalen Hurts 0 for 3, and they've had 2 3-and-outs.
Josh Jacobs he's just standing deep in the end zone. He figures Blankenship's not going to give much of a chance, and he'll leave it right there.
Remember, Calvin Ridley at the bottom is the go-to guy, the player that's got to make plays in a passing game for Jalen Hurts, and Georgia knows it. He's got a safety over top.
And flip it to Harris in the flat. Hard collision. He's knocked out by the corner Parrish.
Been surprised that Georgia, Kirby Smart, has decided, and along with Mel Tucker, their defensive coordinator, not to double or to try to move Baker, their best corner, 18, against Ridley. Georgia's done a very good job of moving Ridley around from the right to the left, to the outside, to the inside. This time he does go up against Baker, their top Georgia corner, up at the top.
And Harris really couldn't get going. It was a slow developing play. Shot through the hole for a couple of yards, but big John Atkins. And David Marshall, you can see he's back in the game for Georgia, that defensive end.
Bama going to go fast, trying to catch Georgia off guard, trying to get lined up.
Need 4. Hurts. trying to create something, buying time, runs to the sideline as it just throws it into the bench. So the Dogs flushed him out. Trent Thompson with the pressure. It's 4th down.
Jalen Hurts, when he gets pressured, sees any flash of an opposing color, his instinct is to get out. Watch the pressure. Watch the offensive line does a pretty good job of trying to take care of him. If he steps up into the pocket, he's okay. Instead, he's taking all his receivers away by bailing to the right. And on 3rd down, he just can't do that.
Another 3 and out for the Tide offense. Scott, a booming punt, and Hartman up to make the fair catch. Dogs a minute 19 to work with and 3 timeouts. From making the adjustments. Play clock at 5. Tide rush 4. From gets it out. He's thrown behind Ridley, who comes back and makes a nice hand catch. It's a 1st down.
I think the ball got deflected by Terrell Lewis at the line of scrimmage. 24, he couldn't get to the quarterback, so he just jumped up, and it looked like he may have got a hand on it. But Ridley, great focus to be able to hold on to that ball.
From the pocket, drops by Godwin on the comeback route. You're right. It is quite a story here that Riley Ridley, the sophomore younger brother of the Tide's superstar wide receiver, future NFL guy, 8 catches all year, and he has shown up.
Yeah.
It's his big brother's team.
And his big brother's probably a top 10 pick if he decides to come out this year in the draft. And right now he's getting the better of his brother.
Exactly a minute before halftime.
Jeremy Pruitt trying to communicate to Minkah and the rest of the Tide defense.
On the long throw, it's incomplete. Just over the outstretched hands of Averett. You thought he was going to have a pick.
Well, the ball came out funky. It slipped out of his hand, but I think he misread the coverage. Jeremy Pruitt making a late adjustment. I think he was anticipating man-to-man. The ball kind of slips out of his hand, an awkward follow-through. You can see it's a duck. Goes right through the hands of Everett, who, if he intercepts that ball, it's a foot race to the end zone.
And Godwin made a terrific effort to catch it.
Expecting man, and thought he would sink back, and instead he sat underneath the throw.
On 3rd and 10, it's another run, and Michel's free. Sony Michel has been the answer on 3rd and long against this Bama defense.
And they go behind the left tackle on 3rd down and long. Isaiah Wynn. Boy, Sony Michel has such acceleration, and when you're thinking pass, all he needs is a little crease.
They pitch it to Swift, makes a cut, and the freshman from Philly, another 1st down. Dogs trying to add to this lead. Still have those timeouts. Now 35 seconds.
That's the Georgia bread and butter. The pin and pull. They pin on the seal the edge, pull the left tackle Isaiah Wynn out, who made a nice block there on the corner, Everett, and it gives Swift a nice crease to get down the sideline. Got a frustrated Alabama defense right now.
Georgia's run 43 plays to 23 for Alabama. Steps up, escapes, a lot of room, and no slide. He's going to take a shot. 1st down in the red zone. 28 seconds left.
Well, unlike Jalen Hurts, you're not always thinking about Jake Fromm pulling it down, but you see man-to-man, defensive backs have their back to the quarterback in that man coverage. Fromm recognizes it right away, and instead of trying to force the ball, he felt the pressure from his right and takes off and gets big yards.
Got to hurry. Play action. From fires down inside the 5. Slipping away and reaching for the end zone is Godwin. Stop him just short. And another fearless throw from the freshman.
Well, the receiver ran out of bounds, but actually he was pushed out of bounds. And by being pushed out of bounds, it allows him to get back in, establish himself, and make the catch.
1st down.
I'd be surprised to see Michel maybe in the wild dog.
Yep, Fromm motions out. It's Michel Hardman instead. The receiver comes in. They hand it. Nope, they keep it. And sprinting to the edge. The Dogs. working in the first half.
When you play against your former coach, it's all about a couple wrinkles here or there. We all anticipated Michel. Instead, it's Hardman, who's a high school quarterback, gets the direct snap.
7 seconds in the first half, dominated by Georgia. Blankenship makes it 13-0. Fromm and the Dogs. It's their turn to roll in the first half. And they close it out. Their first national championship in 37 years. Rick and Saban and the Tide come back. AT&T field pass to Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, thank you very much. Under 100 yards offensively, Nick. What do you have to do to change it?
Well, we got to do something. I mean, we just can't move the ball effectively. We haven't been able to throw it effectively at all. So, and I don't think it's just all the quarterback. I think it's the whole group. We got to get open. We got to protect better. And you know, defensively, we're making too many mistakes, especially on third down when we got a chance to get off the field. So, had plenty of chances to stay in the ball game and get things fixed at halftime.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Nick.
All right, thanks.
Let's go to Maria.
Thanks so much, Tom. Coach, a huge momentum swing with your last offensive series. What did you see from your offense the last time they took the field?
Well, I'm seeing some composure, a little physicality, doing a good job running the ball. You know, they're really big and physical up front, so they're hard to move. But our backs are running hard. The quarterback's making some really good decisions.
What's allowed you to get out to a 13-0 lead going into the locker room?
Well, I think our defense is getting the ball back for the offense. We got to make better decisions on special teams. We keep hurting ourselves with penalties. Can't do that.
All right, thanks for your time.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You know, that reaction from Nick Saban makes you wonder if you may see the true freshman backup quarterback behind Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, maybe get an opportunity in the second half, known as a great passer.
Yeah, Hurts 3 of 8, but Harris and Jacobs, the running backs combined, have 20 yards in the first half. It's all Georgia. Stay tuned for the Mercedes-Benz halftime report, halftime performance by Kendrick Lamar, right after these messages. The underdog Bulldogs have the lead. Welcome back to the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. And if Georgia can hold this lead, look out, folks, Atlanta's going to come unraveled. Jake Fromm, we talked about him a lot, Kirk, in high school a year ago. Efficient, made the early mistake, the interception. He's been knocked around a bit, but boy, he has been clutch.
Well, he has. I think it's, again, combination of a lot of things in that first half. Jim Chaney trusting him, an aggressive play calling, getting the ball out on the perimeter. But look on the other side of the ball. Look what Georgia's done defensively against Alabama and against their running game. They've completely taken their running game out, put the game on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts, which we told you they're going to try to do. The running backs have 26 yards rushing. The running backs, if you take Hurts' running away, and we mentioned the possibility. There's Jalen Hurts, of course, who's 25-2 as a starter. Tagovailoa, who's the true freshman, who can throw the football well. And this game gets to a point where they're not executing at the line of scrimmage, and they need to throw. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets a shot.
Tide get the football first. Blankenship, perfect on 2 field goals. He's been knocking his kickoffs deep, and he does so again. Jacobs going to try to make a play from 6 yards deep. And fights across the 20. And here it is. Tua Tagovailoa, a true freshman from Hawaii, gets the second half start. He keeps it. He's a nifty runner, not quite as powerful as Hurts, but he's in there because he's throwing it.
He is known as a distributor, a great passer, a guy who has come in and even though he hasn't played a lot of meaningful snaps, the players believe in him. The players, the receivers especially, really believe that he can make the throws to give them a chance to be more balanced than with Jalen Hurts in there.
It's still a remarkable move by head coach, and Tagovailoa from the pocket spins it. It's an accurate throw, short, complete to Hale Henches, the tight end. And now a 3rd down and medium coming up. Reggie Carter tackled the receiver.
So right now, we have 2 true freshman quarterbacks playing in the national championship.
Yep. We had Jalen Hurts a year ago, coming just short.
And he's facing his first 3rd down in this atmosphere.
By the way, there's 3 true freshman wide receivers in the game for Bama as well, as Tagovailoa tries to dodge the rush. Cannot escape. Sacked by Roquan Smith, the Butkus Award winner. QB change, same result, though, for the Bama offense.
Wow, the middle linebackers, they bring them both right through here. Watch Harris try to pick up Roquan Smith, but there's the quickness. He actually held him. Smith still was able to get in there and get around Damian Harris. Great athletic ability, great skills for a linebacker, and they love to blitz him.
Worst news, by the way, as you see Mel Tucker's reaction. He was part of that contingent. There was a former Alabama assistant, one of 3 smart assistants who worked for Saban. Scott is methodical. He's had 3 punts blocked in his career. When he gets them off, he typically booms them. And now Hardman has a crease. Michel Hardman is knocked down. That was a very tough tackle on the coverage team by Cam Sims, the receiver. Chubb tries to bounce it, but he'll be dropped for a loss, strung out by the hard-hitting safety, Ronnie Harrison. Maria?
Well, Chris, Kirby Smart tells me coming out of the huddle that he wants his team to focus on the next 30 minutes because he says that's what's going to define him. He said in the locker room he also wanted to settle his team down. They wouldn't be too excited and too hyped off of the final drive. He told his team, too, that penalties and special teams will decide this game, and they have to make better decisions there.
Saban, meanwhile, hoping, Kirk, that someone on this defense can make a play, a takeaway. Spark Bama. 2nd and 13. Fromm flips it in the flat. And in heavy traffic, Swift tries to cut back. And back-to-back losses. So the Tide defense pushing the Dogs back. Isaiah Buggs, the big fella, made that play.
Really, Minkah Fitzpatrick forced the ball back inside. He was dealing with being blocked by Blazevich, the tight end, who's a big physical tight end. Does a good job of pulling and pushing him back. The crowd reacting to the face mask, a potential face mask by Buggs near the end of that play. I thought he got him close to the face mask. In fact, he grabs a hold of it. Then he gets the jersey afterwards. Got away with a pull of the face mask for sure.
Big 10 crew missed that one. That's a huge difference. At a first down, 3rd and 21. And just the safe play and the handoff to Swift. Crowd is still up in arms.
The 2 big misses in the last few plays by the officials. Bama will get the ball back, but very easily could have been called for a personal foul and a face mask, giving Georgia that first down.
We saw the aggressive approach by the Tide, sensing what we talked about. It's their turn to step up and make something happen. The offense has been mute tonight. Trayvon Diggs is deep. Nislek. It's a low kick away, and Diggs is going to chase it down at the 30. Gets the edge, spins out of a tackle, and Alabama set up at the 43-yard line. Another look at the face mask that Buggs got away with.
He got a hold of him right there, and not only gets a hold of him, he gives it a yank. By the time he lets go, then he gets a hold of the jersey, and that's what made the official miss it. Remember that left tackle, true freshman.
Dogs don't pressure. Tagovailoa has all night. Hit hard, spinning around, trying to escape and create, and now he's in the clear. The freshman shows some toughness, creating a desperately needed 3rd down conversion.
Georgia plays man under with 2 deep. He has all day. Quarterbacks actually much more mobile. Tagovailoa much more mobile, but also strong. Low center of gravity, gets out of there and picks up the first down.
Bama in Georgia territory at the 44. First down throw, a slant, high, caught. Robert Foster, the senior, just his 12th of the season. Young kid feeling it.
Dominic Sanders, the safety, cheating down again. 1st and 10. What's Alabama been doing all night? Running the ball. Safety's down, loading the box. Bama throws right behind him.
Screen, Ruggs, true freshman to true freshman, and he busts down inside the 20. It's near the marker.
Well, just a different feel from Alabama right now. Brian Dable, it's like he's been put in a much different position as a play caller now. Much more aggressive with Tagovailoa in there because of the ability to get the ball out quickly.
2nd and 1, throwing again, slant low, and it's Ruggs, the freshman, going down again. 1st and goal, Alabama.
This is what a lot of Alabama fans have talked about, the possibility of Tagovailoa someday maybe getting an opportunity. What it's done, Chris, because of the play calling, boy, it's changed the energy and the attitude from that Georgia defense. Got to execute down here. They need 6.
Throwing again. End zone. Touchdown! Henry Ruggs. We got a freshman quarterback duel in Atlanta, and the Tide are back in it. Where does that come from, Kurt? You're in high school a year ago. You haven't played a meaningful snap all year. Season. You're mopping up all year. You come in down 13, hostile crowd, 7 plays, 56 yards, 5 of 6 on the drive, and a touchdown to Ruggs. I'd say you're right. The energy has changed a lot.
Oh, what a different approach. Great job by Brian Dable. How about the offensive lineman, Leatherwood, the left tackle? Watch him do a good job. He has all day to be able to make this read. Watch at the top to the right. All day to throw, and eventually the true freshman Ruggs breaks away from Parrish by getting separation. Look at the anticipation. Leads him into the middle of the field where nobody's there to be able to account for him. And
there's something about him in there.
That's really cool to see Jalen Hurts. First one out to congratulate the freshman quarterback.
Out of class. Nick Saban takes one of those Saban risks. Yeah, the offense was struggling, but Jalen Hurts is a guy that is 25-2 as a starter. He's thrown 1 interception this season. He provided the only offense they had in the first half by running, but knowing they needed to throw the ball, they go to the freshman, and he lights it up. Hardman will bring it out. Michel Hardman knocked down at the 6-yard line. Play action on 1st down. As Fromm is trusted to make a throw, backed up, and Godwin makes the catch and moves the sticks. I mean, are these guys really true freshmen?
How good is this? How good is this? Fromm gets back there. You're thinking, okay, crowd's back into the game. Crowd's favoring Alabama. They're going to settle it down, maybe get a little conservative. Be careful. Jim Chaney says, I'm going to get the ball to Fromm. Let him fire one out to Godwin.
Now, Fromm's done this all year. He won his first start at Notre Dame after Jacob Eason was injured in the 3rd series of the season. Many feel the Dogs wouldn't be here without Fromm coming in. Now Chubb dropped behind the line. Everett invaded the backfield.
They've been bringing him on blitzes quite a bit. He's right here near side and caught Fromm, who typically kind of feels those things out. They disguised it incredibly well, did not tip their hand, and it allowed Everett to be able to get in there and be involved in being able to push Georgia back for an 8-yard loss.
It's a couple times you spotted Everett in particular fooling Fromm. 2nd and 18. Chubb. Muscles gets almost all of that lost yardage back, but it's going to be 3rd and 11. Prodigies, guys with a rare mental gift to go with the physical abilities. You're seeing this guy who's getting his first taste of meaningful action, and Fromm's really been doing it all season.
Sure has. Thought a big key coming into this game. There's so much talk about the running game. The quarterbacks not only hitting big plays, avoiding the disastrous play. 3rd down right here for Fromm.
Delivers under pressure. Downfield. Caught. Hardman. A foot race. Escapes and scores. And Fromm chucks it deep. Hardman beats his man, and Georgia answers the Tide's first touchdown.
But Fromm on 3rd and long found a matchup to his advantage with Hardman, who has great speed. He was matched up one-on-one with the nickelback Tony Brown, a much bigger, thicker defensive back.
Georgia went 93 yards, by the way, in 4 plays.
By the way,
80 on the last.
after Alabama scores that touchdown, an incredible answer. They tried to disguise something. Here's Deontay Thompson, a safety. Here's Ronnie Harrison, kind of showing a too-deep look at 3rd and long. And at the snap of the ball, they go to man free. The safety, you go to the middle. The matchup is right there. And with the safety moving from the hash to the middle of the field, nobody's back there to help Tony Brown. Again, a physical defensive back against the speedster, Michel Hardman. Great job by Jake Fromm seeing that post-snap movement, see the Bama defense moving, steps up, feels some pressure by Terrell Lewis, and with a safety moving off the hash, puts it way up in the air with a speedster. Again, Hardman can get to it.
Bama should get decent field position as they try to answer the answer. Blankenship still boots it down to the 5-yard line. Jacobs. You can hear the pads pop. They didn't get good field position. Dogs flew down. Shane Beamer's special teams tackle him at the 23. It's Ridley in motion. Tagovailoa looked that direction. Steps up. He takes his shot downfield. Diving attempts. It's incomplete. Trying to work a long way back to that ball was Devontae Smith, yet another true freshman. Korea.
Well, Chris, after Tua Tagovailoa led a touchdown drive, Mel Tucker, Georgia's defensive coordinator, encouraged his defense. We are fine, keep chopping. Then he reassured them that all they have to do is stick to their fundamentals. Just because the quarterback changes doesn't mean you change. And they said when he takes off running, look to strip the ball out of his hands.
That's good advice. He hasn't been under fire much in meaningful games, as we've said. Rolls, flips it high, into traffic, intercepted. DeAndre Baker made the young fellow pay for a mistake.
He forced it.
There's a flag down on the far side.
He forced the ball here. Should have just thrown this ball away. Remember, young guy hasn't played a lot, trying to make a play. Boy, he threw that into a lot of traffic.
And now the Dogs try to extend this lead. Any points out of this drive, it's a 3-score game. Fromm again trusted to throw on first down. Batted in the air, picked off. The Tide respond. Raekwon Davis. It's another big man interception by Bama. And they're at the 40.
You know, Payne didn't come up with the interception, but he was involved in causing it. This is a crazy play. Payne gets in. The ball bounces off to Sean Hand and it goes up into the air. And how about the athletic ability by Davis at 6'7"? Here's pressure right here. You'll see Hand right here get involved as well. The ball will bounce off of him. So there's Payne getting inside penetration. The ball is thrown, bounces off the helmet of Hand, up into the air, and Davis with those long arms comes up with the big interception.
Tagovailoa still in the game. We've talked all night, Kirk, about risk reward. We've seen the reward of these talented freshmen making big plays. There's the risk.
Back to back. Last 2 plays. Great field position for Bama.
From the 25, first down. Tua, pressure, delivers to the end zone. And in a diving attempt, Sims couldn't come up with it.
You know, all these vertical shots from Tagovailoa not only gives you the threat of making a big play, it can open up the running game because those linebackers and safeties now, instead of coming downhill, they're now retreating. And Bellamy almost gets to him, but he's able to get that ball off. So keep that in mind as we're watching a lot of passing. Those linebackers and safeties, by them now backpedaling, you can still run the football and stay balanced for Alabama.
Tagovailoa flips it over the middle. Ridley bobbled, incomplete. It was a low throw, tried to make a circus catch, but he knocked it up into dangerous area. 3rd down.
And as much as they try to get Tagovailoa in with the ones in practice, you know, just a little thing, the timing. He does a good job of actually baiting that defensive line. Moves off to his left and comes back to his right. And you'd love to see Calvin really get both his hands down there to try to secure that ball instead of the one hand.
Really frustrating night For the Tide's great receiver. One catch, targeted 5 times. Can they find him here? Minkah chase, delivers, incomplete. Flying off the edge to pressure was the linebacker DeAndre Walker. It's 4th down.
He jumped that. There's no chance for Matt Womack because he timed it up right here. Womack wants to come out, but the speed off the outside. See how he timed that? He took a chance, and he got in there to affect Tagovailoa. By the way, if he doesn't get in there, they've got 3 linemen downfield in front of that screen and a lot of room to operate. Georgia fortunate with Walker getting in there.
Papanastos, a nervous miss from 42 earlier. This from a yard longer. Not the prettiest, but it's crucial. The Tide able to cash in Davis's interception, but only for 3 to cut the lead to 10.
But there's lots happened here.
I thought this was going to be a grind fest running game defense. All of a sudden you put the young guys, turn them loose, and it's a shootout. Scott boots this one deep again. Hardman chose to bring it out last time. Doesn't make the same mistake twice. Second straight run for Chubb. He tries to bounce it outside, but Rashaan Evans, the senior, playing in his 7th playoff game, makes the tackle. But it's still the Dogs, the underdogs, up double digits, headed to the 4th quarter, trying to end a championship drought of almost 4 decades. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Georgia begins the final quarter. Chubb again. Georgia's only played 2 close games. The come from behind victory at Notre Dame in game 2, the late game-winning field goal, and that rally against Oklahoma from 17 down. They are devastating in this position, though.
Absolutely. It's where they've been, with the exception of the trip to Jordan-Hare. Their 3rd down has been a strength tonight for Georgia, 8 of 15.
Chubb motions back in. 3 receivers to the right. From pressured, sacked. Right up the middle was Roquan Davis, who made the pick. And now that drive killer.
Great coverage downfield. Fromm had nowhere to go with the ball. They matched up well with their matchup zone. It turns into man-to-man principles. Davis is right here, gets a good push. He's so long, so athletic in the inside. See how he's able to just get off of Ben Cleveland using his hands and quickness.
Nisley timed the punt as the Tide peel back to set up a return. A very low pick. And it's going to be fielded there by Trayvon Diggs, who's tackled immediately. So Roquan Davis trying to single-handedly on that defensive side bring the Tide back in it. Yeah, the interception led to a field goal, and Sack has given the ball back to the Tide offense. Back and forth in a great 4th quarter. Clemson got him. Watson to Renfro with a second to go. Now they are down 10, but Georgia fans hardly comfortable. Eerily similar storyline to the classic SEC championship game. Dogs led by 11 in the 3rd. McCarron, Cooper put him up, and then Georgia drove down and fell 1 play, a couple seconds short. To continue with the theme, true freshman Najee Harris is in the game. And he makes a big play, and Harris. It's nothing but freshmen running around out here, Kirk.
It's also a good job by this offensive line, pulling around both their guards. Pierce Baker, Hasenauer, both young linemen being able to pull around there, especially the right guard there who's in for Lester Cotton. And Najee Harris is a big back, but he has great speed if he can get out in the open field.
Been a frustrating night for Damian Harris, their leader, no relation. And Najee getting a turn. That time they fake it to him. Tagovailoa has lots of time and a big cushion for Cam Sims, who makes the catch. Still fighting, spinning, takes a big shot at the 46 from Trenton Thompson. They move the chains.
Trenton Thompson chasing that play down. Has good speed for a big guy, and he's able to catch up to Sims, who turns back into the play right there. Boom.
Ball moved to the 46. Get it at quick. Foster, 2 blocks on the edge, and they move the ball into the Dogs' territory.
What just a different feel with Tagovailoa. They're stretching this defense vertically, horizontally. If you're just tuning in, Jalen Hurts, who's 25-2 as a starter, struggled in the first half. Alabama not doing anything offensively. Nick Saban rolls the dice. You see Sims after that hit checking out. Puts in a true freshman. Hasn't played any meaningful snaps all year, and it's kind of sparked this Alabama offense.
And now Harris is the 4 tailback, bounces it. Najee Harris in the clear, a powerful run, still battling and slung out inside the 10 by Roquan Smith.
But what a great block by Jerry Jeudy. Watch number 4 in the crack block. Boom, right there on Aaron Davis. Set, got the edge. And as I said, you see Najee Harris, how big he is. You think of him as a power back, but pretty nifty, able to keep his feet and his balance, and Alabama's in business.
36 yards. Got it again, feeding the hot hand. Little hesitation, and earns about 3. So many guys stepping up that we don't expect to see on the massive stage because of their inexperience.
Remember we talked about Georgia had to go all the way out to the West Coast and play a game in double overtime. They had to fly back. How much did the wear and tear take a toll on them? Alabama played a game late against Clemson. What kind of toll would it take on them? 4th quarter now.
Tagovailoa pump fake for the end zone. Jeudy just over his fingertips. The flip side, though, is Bama hasn't been able to really work on this defense, soften them up. That's only the 51st play tonight.
Yeah, but I'm just looking out there and I'm watching both teams kind of hands on their hips a little bit. This tempo is very, very tough to prepare for both teams because you really can't simulate that in practice. Screen. Alabama has gone after. Right now you have Robert Foster, who's lined up against him.
From the pocket, Tagovailoa to the end zone. Incomplete. Skying up. Trying to make the catch was Jeudy. Dominic Sanders, tremendous effort.
Chris, he has the ball. It's just a matter of does he have possession while his feet are down. Sanders intercepts the ball. Let's see, take a look at his feet. Whoa, the ball went in the air. He had the ball against his leg, and then it went up in the air after his feet were up.
Dogs very good at the field goal block when they got Oklahoma's. Don't come after that one. And Papanastos able to curl it through. Alabama back within 7. You're watching the College Football Playoff National Championship game presented by AT&T. Herschel Walker, honorary captain. Vince Dooley, coach of that Georgia team. Really the only true national championship team for Georgia in 1980. They had one in 1942, Kirk, but the computers voted on it. No human poll picked Georgia. They liked Ohio State.
How cool is that to see Herschel Walker and Vince Dooley sitting here in Atlanta looking out over this field watching the Bulldogs play for the national championship? You think this fan base is hungry to try to get their first since '80?
Starving. Hardman ripped and thrown down inside the 15. A vicious tackle by the man who was so fired up over there for Bama. They keep Brown before in the bench.
Remember, he got a personal foul for taking a swing, and this time comes down with bad intentions again. A big man covering a kickoff. Dave Kataya gives me the thumbs up, saying it's a clean hit.
It's Chubb in the wild dog. Takes off. Fairly predictable, and the Tide flowed to the right, dropped him for a loss. These 2 freshman quarterback, Tagovailoa coming on at halftime for Jalen Hurts, who wasn't hurt. Saban just making the decision to go for the young guy to spark the offense.
And you see true freshmen, not just the quarterbacks, but we've been saying true freshmen a lot tonight. Alabama's leading rusher and leading receiver are both true freshmen. We've seen the quarterbacks playing, and seen a lot of linemen in this game that are young true freshmen.
Georgia's got one in there. DeAndre Swift in the slot to the left. And it's Hardman who's had a big night on the end around. They don't contain him at the edge. That'll drive Pruitt crazy.
How do you beat Alabama? Since Nick Saban's really gotten Alabama going in 08, you go back over the years and you think of the Johnny Manziels, and Ole Miss has been able to do it, and very few teams. Auburn's had some opportunities. Clemson, of course, with Deshaun Watson. If you don't have a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, you've got to have players like Hardman who can get out on the perimeter and try to find some opportunities to get in space and accelerate upfield. That's what they've done tonight.
Dogs need 2 to prolong the drive and chew on some clock. Hardman again. This was the look that scored the touchdown. This time they give it to Michel up the middle, and nothing doing. The Tide rise up and stop him a yard short. 4th down. Davis and Payne clog the middle.
Yeah, that was all Daron Payne in the middle, being able to get off of his block. Watch 94 here in a critical moment in this game. You wonder if Hardman's going to fake and go around the corner the way he did last time. Watch Payne in the middle, get off of 2 blocks and hold his point and push Hardman back into that backfield short of the 1st down. Big time play by 94.
He made a couple of them in that win over Clemson. You recall the interception that set up his own touchdown reception. Nisley. He was at Columbia a year ago. Boots it deep. Diggs dancing around, slithers free for a short return out to the 35. Bama has battled back within 7. 7:10 to play. You see the impact of true freshmen on the Alabama offense in that timeout. Jalen Hurts, a freshman last year, had his helmet off, and it was a year ago he was in this position trying to bring the Tide back from a deficit against Clemson. He did it before Deshaun Watson worked his magic. Now he has to watch. See if Tagovailoa can get the Tide even here.
Shown a lot of maturity in the way he's handled Tagovailoa going into this 2nd half.
How many more possessions will Bama have, Kirk, in this 4th quarter?
Yeah, you're looking at a couple more possessions with 7:10 to go.
Damian Harris comes in motion. Tagovailoa fakes the run, and now he's going to flip it to Harris in the flat. Makes a man miss, and Damian Harris, after a frustrating night, spins across the 50 into Georgia territory.
You know, of all the backs that they have, he reminds me the most of a Mark Ingram type of back. Good action, threatening them downfield with the action from Tagovailoa, and then it's just getting the ball out to Harris out in space where he can make some people miss.
The lefty fires downfield. Judy goes up. Freshman to freshman again, and the Tide set up inside the 15. He's followed his height there.
Chris, look at the background right here. Watch how he's man-to-man, and then the guy just lets go of him. It looked like it was Tyreek McGee. He was running with him, and then midway through the route, he aborted, relied on somebody else. There was no one else there, and Tagovailoa does a good job of recognizing it, putting the ball there where Judy can go up and make a great play.
Tide 13 yards from tying this championship game. They pick up the pressure. End zone throw. Leaping catch. No, incomplete. Again, full extension by Calvin Ridley. And DeAndre Baker wins that battle.
Chris, that's good against good. That's a Todd McShay, Mel Kiper video replay right there. This is 2 guys that will be potentially first-rounders next year. Baker is stride for stride. The ball is thrown perfectly to give Ridley a chance at the ball. Baker brings his right hand through to knock that ball away in the AT&T pylon cam, giving us a great view.
It was that late swipe.
Right at the last second.
For Baker. Keeper. Tagovailoa cuts it back. He's shifty. Down to the 6.
He got a nice push. Got a nice push there from Pierce Baker, 71. He was going to be maybe stopped at about the 8 or 9 yard line, and Pierce Baker pushing him, which is legal now in college football, all the way up to about the 6 yard line.
Final 5 minutes and counting. 3rd and 3. Ridley to the far right. Damian Harris is plastered in the backfield. Trenton Thompson is having a game tonight. 4th down.
Boy, Thompson has that ability to slip through, puts Nick Saban and Brian Dable in an interesting position. Nick Saban's been going for it a lot this year on 4th down. 14 of 17 on the year. 1-4 in their loss at Auburn. It's a big play here for Brian Dable.
You get a 1st down at the 3. Tagovailoa, plenty of time, surveying the field, fires end zone, touchdown! Calvin Ridley finally makes an impact. The superstar receiver waited all night for that moment. He'd been targeted, he'd been missed. That time, Tagovailoa coolly spins it to him. And now Papanastos to tie the game at 20. 3:49 to play. Alabama. 20 points after halftime, all with Tagovailoa at quarterback.
So he's going to look to his right to hit Ridley right away, but you're going to see Dominic Sanders get in the way of the route. Right here, look at his eyes. He's trying to go right here, but you have Sanders who takes that away. What's great is Ridley doesn't give up on the play. Keeps working against man-to-man, pulls away from Aaron Davis. A great effort, and how about the moxie and the poise by the young freshman quarterback sitting in that pocket. 4th down, game on the line potentially, and he throws an absolute rope. On the run, defense closing in on him, throws it away from the defense, and Ridley makes the play.
Number 2 there, Jalen Hurts, 25-2 as a starter. Right now looking like a genius move.
No doubt about it. Took guts to make the move. Definitely has created a spark.
Hardman, who scored 2 touchdowns tonight, 1 running and 1 receiving, returns it out across the 22-yard line. And it's not the seniors Chubb and Michel, but the freshman Swift to his left. From has time in the pocket. It's an inaccurate throw, incomplete.
Well, Payne got in there. He got off of the left guard, Kendall Baker, and that's what Nick Saban calls affecting the quarterback. We don't always have to sack him. Let's affect him, and that's exactly what Payne did there by getting down into the face of Fromm. It forced him to throw that ball a little bit off balance and caused to be an incomplete pass and an errant pass.
Tide rush 4. Fromm delivers near sideline. It's Riley Ridley. Will be ruled out of bounds before he spun and made the dive. So 3rd down and 4 coming up.
Ridley's been there for him all night, and often it seems like they're on the right side. Amazing he leads his team in receptions tonight.
He said they hadn't thrown last couple series. They're trusting Fromm in this series.
How about Michel and Chubb not in to start this series? They've gone with the freshman Swift.
Incredible. It's Nauta, the tight end, motioning in. Time again. High throw, incomplete. Tide rushed 4, and that was delivered over the head of his receiver. 4th down.
It's the first time tonight it just felt like Fromm was a little bit out of sync, maybe just trying to force the throw a little bit. Most of this night we've seen him comfortable, we've seen him confident. In that series, I don't know if that was all him or some of Alabama in good coverage as well, but it felt different on that series from Fromm here late in this game.
Nisley to punt it to Trayvon Diggs. Tide really haven't made a big impact play in the return game really all year. It's a good punt. Diggs is driven back to the 20. 1 cut, up the middle. Effective return to the 35. 2:55 to go. The freshman who hadn't had a meaningful snap all season long off the bench in the second half. A chance to win Nick Saban's 6th national championship.
A year ago, he's leaving Hawaii and enrolling in college in Alabama, trying to figure out where the dorms are and where is he walking around to go to class. And Jalen Hurts continues to support him, which is one of the coolest things I've seen tonight, being a great teammate.
Think about all his family moving from Hawaii here to Alabama. His younger brother's a talented prospect in high school, too. Najee Harris not turn the corner. The Dogs invade, and Roquan Smith makes a big play.
Defensive line eating up those offensive linemen. The young freshman that's in there for Jonah Williams. Alex Leatherwood's playing a left tackle spot. He tried to get up to the fleet-footed Roquan Smith to no avail. Roquan has such great instincts and ability to diagnose, and if you don't get a body on him, he's going to make the tackle. I promise you.
Feeling a second consecutive overtime game after the first in Rose Bowl history?
Not the way he's throwing the ball. Let's see what happens here.
Got to hurry again. Play clock winding down. Harris has the handoff, fights off a high tackle and just barrels out across the 45. Barely got that play off. That was real close.
Yeah, the right side here. Womack and Hasenauer watch this double team working this way, and they create a nice lane right there for the freshman to be able to get through there. Tell you, again, he puts his foot down and accelerates upfield. He is a handful at 227 pounds.
Tied with tempo, testing the metal of this Dogs defense. Minkah sideline route. It's easy pitch and catch to Ridley. Be careful. Calvin Ridley starting to get involved now.
I'm very surprised. It looks like we have a flag down.
Personal foul. Face mask. Defense.
Parrish guilty of the 15-yard penalty.
As he was tackling him, took a stiff arm from Ridley and then grabs onto the face mask as he's going down.
Ball at the 31-yard line. Already in fringe field goal range for the senior Papanastos. Run all the way. Chase down at the 25.
Boy, that great job on the left side again. True to their word. The coaches, we said, boy, you've got 4 talented backs in Harris, Scarborough, Jacobs, and the freshman Harris. How do you pick who you're going to play at a crucial moment? They just said it's kind of a feel. We just kind of feel it out. And you got Najee Harris out there playing in the biggest moment of the year for Alabama and playing well.
2nd and 4. Do they play a little cautious here? Well, within field goal range. One left, bounced, hit, and he'll be knocked out right at the line of scrimmage. 3rd down now.
Big Jonathan Ledbetter that time was the difference maker. He's able to get by that freshman Leatherwood. It's been a battle up front when both teams have tried to run the ball. Reggie Carter also coming over to help out.
Georgia led it 20-7 in the 3rd quarter. Bama 13 straight points behind the freshman quarterback and freshman running back, and big play by the senior receiver. 3rd down. Keeper. Tagovailoa lowers the head, shows the power, and gets a first down. He just ran over the senior Sanders.
Yeah, he went right over top of him. Mentioned how strong he is, his lower body for being a young player. People forget that he can run the ball, and he's not only slippery and quick, but he can be powerful.
Straight keeper, and Tagovailoa moves it to the right hash.
They're getting away from that left. Get off that left hash. Georgia calls another timeout. Now they're just probably going to work, controlling the clock, work this to the middle of the field.
Or wherever Papanastos wants it.
Yeah.
One to the right. Tagovailoa knocked down at the 15. They'll keep that field goal attempt. Looks like on the right hash. The clock continues to run. Kickers and punters and the holders and the snappers spend most of their careers, Kirk, on different fields in the offense and defense, working in solitude.
Absolutely.
The mental part, trying to get the muscle memory down. Papanastos is a really good golfer. He compares kicking to golf, trying to get that swing down so it's just automatic under pressure.
He's going to get his chance.
Tagovailoa is under center. Play clock winding down, and this will be it. Saban says, wait a second. You got that a little too close. I wanted a timeout. 6 seconds remaining. Mad at his quarterback.
He's frustrated because he wanted to run the play and then call the timeout, not let the clock run all the way down.
Yeah, look who's back in the game at quarterback. Jalen Hurts is in the huddle now. His first snap of the second half. In 3rd and 6, Saban preferring the steadier hand, at least in terms of experience.
Well, it's because they're probably going to move over to the left a little bit and get a quick timeout.
They get down. They do. And this will be the final play to decide whether or not Alabama will roar back and claim a 5th championship in 9 years and prolong Georgia's drought in painful fashion. A miss, of course. We headed overtime. Snapper Scott Meyer. You ready for this? A freshman from Georgia, by the way.
Of course. Of course. We need another freshman out there.
Papanastos for the national championship from 36 yards. No! Hooked it! The Dogs have life, and we're headed for overtime. You feel for any kicker comes up short in that situation.
Yeah, you do. That was one that, when you miss it that bad, that's pressure. That's pressure getting the best of you. He slipped there with his left foot. His plant foot looked like it slipped a bit.
You deal with kickers, Kirk, that work on natural grass most of the season. The plant foot's a little tricky on these fields with the rubberized pellets. Alabama, a chance to win it. We're going to head to overtime. Find out who's leaving here with a trophy. And the eerie quiet, the kind of weird tension that accompanies an overtime in a big college game.
Remember, on the perimeter and throwing the ball, getting it outside was where Fromm and Georgia's had their most success. He's making a check. Jeremy Pruitt yelling out to that Bama defense. They're also making checks.
Chubb met. Battles for just a few yards. You got to believe in your offensive line to test the front of the Tide on that play.
Absolutely. It was almost like Jeremy Pruitt and the Tide defense baiting the young freshman, giving him a certain look, knowing that he's willing to make checks at the line of scrimmage. And as soon as he started to come up to the line and make a check, instantly Jeremy Pruitt making the call out to Rashaan Evans and Mack Wilson to make the check with him.
Chubb behind the fullback Payne. He's got it. Cannot get the corner. Levi Wallace stopped him. It's going to be 3rd down.
Boy, Minkah Fitzpatrick anticipating, again, that pin and pull scheme where the outside receiver, the tight end, try to come down and crack block, and then they pull that right tackle outside. by anticipating that, he was able to get upfield and force Chubb back underneath and inside where the rest of that Bama defense was. Remember, Wims is not in the lineup. His favorite target. He's been going more to Riley Ridley, number 8.
Now it's Michel in the game, 3rd and 6. Pressure, flushed, sacked, way back at the 35-yard line. It will be a very long field goal attempt coming up.
A great move here by Lewis, moving around. Payne goes here, and he comes free. You can see that the center, Gilliard, 53, just not agile enough to move with Lewis, and he comes in clean and comes up with a big sack.
Papanastos from 51. I think the 55-yarder in the Rose Bowl. And there's Blankenship trying to give Georgia the lead. Hot Rod just slides it through. I'd say he's earned that scholarship.
Guy, we talk about Jake Fromm having guts. Great snap, great hold. Comes up with a big kick at the end of the first half in the Rose Bowl against Oklahoma. Goes out here in the first overtime after that sack and delivers for Georgia.
Many felt that was a huge field goal at the end of the half to steal 3 points. Not nearly as monstrous as that one.
And now let's keep in mind, not only Bama scores a touchdown, they win the game. If they don't, they've got to try to kick a field goal. There it is, Papanastos. How much is he thinking about what happened on that last field goal attempt at the end of regulation?
Saban jumping around way out on the field, gesturing to his offense. Tagovailoa dancing around, circling back, dropped! A disastrous first down play. Devin Bellamy got him back at the 42.
Chris, that's a combination of great coverage downfield by Georgia and just being a young quarterback not put in this situation. Bellamy almost gets him there. See, that's where you'd like to see him throw it away. Nobody's open. You got to give up on the play, throw it away, get outside of the pocket and play on 2nd and 10. That's his youth right there.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins! The Crimson Tide will not be denied. True freshman to true freshman. Tagovailoa to Devontae Smith. Alabama breaks Georgia hearts. Nick Saban back on the summit where he has caught the bear with his 6th national championship. Bama has won 5 in 9 years.
And how fitting, Chris. On a night when we've talked so much about freshmen, it's true freshman to true freshman to win the game for Alabama.
A 41-yarder after the sack, delivering the victory in overtime to Alabama. To Tom Rinaldi.
Chris, Nick, you just said, is that
Questions. Was that a good game or what?
how do you describe what you just coached through?
Well, I'll tell you what, the resiliency of our team to come back in the second half. Tua did a great job, gave us a little spark. Defense picked it up to overcome the adversity of missing the field goal in regular and then go and win the game in overtime. It's a great football game. You got to give Georgia a lot of credit. They really played well in the game. But I'm so proud of our players for the way they come back in the game after the first half we played was not very good.
What led to the decision, and what did you tell Tua?
Well, I just thought we had to throw the ball in the game, and I thought he could do it better. And he did. He did a good job. We made some plays in the passing game. So, hey, it's just a great win, man. I'm so happy for Alabama fans. Great for our players. Unbelievable.
After what happened last year, losing with 1 second to go, the mantra all season was finish. How did you coach your team to do that tonight? What spirit did they show you, Nick?
Well, I told them in the beginning, I said, look, all we got to do is execute. We make so many mistakes in the first half. I mean, we were shooting ourselves in the foot left and right. So I said, if we just go have poise and focus to execute like we do all the time, that's who we are, we'll have a chance to get back in this game. And the players believed it and came back and did a great job.
Your 6th national championship. You tie Bear Bryant for most in the poll era. Take a second and hear that. What does that mean to you?
Right now, I'm just happy for all these folks here. I'm happy for all these folks. I'm happy for our players. I don't care anything about that, to be honest with you. This was a great win for our players, and I've never been happier in my life.
Never.
Never.
Congratulations, Nick.
Meanwhile, Tagovailoa, Kirk, had to shake off a 16-yard loss in the previous play, and that's like they're back at the 41-yard line, not in field goal range.
Right. It was how about them coming right back to this call? And he mentioned how he moved the safety. This is a safety right here. Dominic Sanders moves him to the middle of the field, gives him just enough. What you don't see is his head moves complete. Watch his eyes right here. His head is looking this way. He's trying to move the safety as much as he can, because if he does, he knows that he has Smith streaking down the sidelines. The eyes move the safety just enough for him to go back to Smith and make the throw of the year.
And the first catch of the night for Smith, one of those true freshmen that played such a prominent role. Really an incredible storyline. We'll talk about this one for as long as college football was played, not just because of Saban's historic achievement that, of course, he downplayed, but because of Tagovailoa.
It's the most important play, especially after the sack, and Kirby Smart's team comes up just a little bit short.
And still, the fact holds true. Saban has not lost to one of his former assistants. It's a painful part of losing at the biggest stage. The opponent's confetti is fluttering down on top of your helmet as you walk off the field. And the Dogs will have a hard time shaking this one off after a Cinderella season, having the lead in their own backyard.
That was a great championship. Both teams, did everything that they needed to do to try to win the game. Got to be so happy for Nick Saban and Alabama. All the championships, the consistency, the dynasty continues for Alabama
tonight. Therese Davis for the trophy presentation.
I would say that one was worth staying up late for, wouldn't you? What a fantastic finish to this college football playoff. Alabama winning it for the 2nd time, doing it in overtime, and now to present the national championship trophy from the college football playoff, the CFP Executive Director, Bill Hancock.
Thank you, Reese. First of all, I want to congratulate both of these fine teams for a great effort tonight and all throughout the regular season. And now it's my honor to present the national championship trophy to Coach Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Nick, you've spoken often of the resilience of this team. How would you describe how they responded after not making the field goal at the end of regulation, then having the sack and still finding a way to make the play to win the game?
Well, I think the big thing that showed the resiliency of the team is the way they responded at halftime after being behind 13-0, not playing very well in the first half. But I'm telling you, they just play the next play, man. Just keep playing the next play. Great competitors on this team, great mental toughness, and I'm really, really proud of this team for what they did tonight.
What were your emotions as you watched the ball fly through the air?
Couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
Did you know touchdown?
I know we were running Seattle, which was 4 streaks, and when I saw Smitty come open on the other side and Tua threw it, I said, this is it.
Do you remember having a win that was that meaningful and that exhilarating in terms of the way it happened?
I think so, but, you know, there's lots of highs and lows. You know, last year we lost on the last play of the game, and this year we won on the last play of the game. So these kids really responded the right way. We said last year, don't waste a failing. They sure did the way they played tonight.
Nick, congratulations on the national championship, your 6th. Nick Saban winning for the 6th time. Now let's bring in the offensive player of the game, Tua Tagovailoa. Tua, you come in, second half, throw for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. How would you describe your emotion when you found out we were going into the game?
You know, first and foremost, all glory belongs to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, all things aren't possible. And, you know, another thing, I like to thank my teammates. You know, I like to thank the defense for giving us the ball back. I like to thank the O-line for, you know, just blocking, and it was just a team effort, you know, and without them, it couldn't have been done. So it wasn't me, you know, it was all of them. And, you know, I'm glad we got to do this.
After the sack in overtime, tell me what you saw when you threw the ball to Devontae Smith.
They tried to disguise their cover 2. And when I dropped back, I looked the middle safety down, the cover 2 safety inside on the 3rd receiver coming over. And I just went back outside, and Smitty was open. So I took the shot, and here we are now.
You got the championship. Tua, congratulations. A wonderful performance and a great comeback. Now let's meet the defensive player of the game, Daron Payne. Daron, you've had a tremendous playoff, both in the semifinal and tonight. What changed after the first half for you guys defensively?
I think we went in and just wanted to get mentally back right. And I think we came out the right way, and everybody came out and wanted to fight hard. And my team did a great job in competing.
After the end of regulation, you didn't win it there. What was it like on defense for the overtime period against Georgia?
We just knew that we were going to come and fight hard any way it went. If he made the kick, we still were going to win it. So it just didn't matter. We were just ready for the long run.
Daron, congratulations on the national championship. Daron Payne, Chris, the Alabama defense fought back, kept the minute, and then a spectacular finish to this college football season. Hi, Rashawn. How are you?
I feel amazing right now.
Well, Rashaan Evans is a guy that suffered a grisly injury on this field in the opening game against Florida State. I mean, you talk about muscle ripped from bone. He fought through all that, worked so hard to get back and be a leader on this defense. He deserves to celebrate.
Coach talked about the resiliency of his team when they were down at half, 13-0. But I'm going to remember this one for Nick Saban having the courage to make a move that's against the grain and put that man, Tua Tagovailoa, into this game and give him a chance to bring the Tide back to win that 5th championship.
His parents had relocated from the native Hawaii to Alabama, pretty close to their son. He's got a little brother who's a heck of a quarterback prospect just down the road from Tuscaloosa. Wow. Dramatic fashion, back-to-back national championship games, won in the final play. A year ago, of course, Bama took the lead. Deshaun Watson marching down the field, winning it for Clemson with 1 second to go. Bama waiting a year to turn the tables and break Georgia's hearts. Minkah Fitzpatrick, one of the warriors of this Alabama team, took a shot to the kidney last week. Didn't matter, just kept going and played big again in this ultimate game. Alabama, another national championship. The Crimson Tide back on top of the college football world in a game that we'll never forget here in Atlanta tonight.
We are living in the moment of history. We've been waiting for this opportunity. I told you before. Buckle up. Let's go beat them. Let's go.
What an opening night atmosphere in Atlanta. Alabama and Florida State, one of the great opening games in the history of college football. Ridley is running free. He's got a touchdown. Tied.
Oh, with Freeman from the backside. The ball is out. And it's the Dogs' ball. Like a beast in the jungle.
Caught by Sermon. He'll take it in the end zone. Touchdown.
Lincoln Riley was going to come to the horseshoe and beat Ohio State. Wow.
Looking. He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown. Michael Norman and knocked off Oklahoma.
USC has a blind snapper, and his name is Jake Olson.
And a good snap from Jake.
It's a very poignant, powerful moment here. The Iowa faithful turning and showing love and support for the patients and their families from the Iowa Children's Hospital. Very, very cool.
The upset, home by the Orange. They defeat Clemson. Touchdown. J.T. Barrett hits him with a strike. Unbelievable comeback.
Intercepted. Look out. Get the turnover chain ready.
Against the mighty Buckeyes. Here we go. The place is about to explode. With a head of steam. Do you believe it? Knights take the lead on a huge touchdown.
Kelly Bird shows the speed. Touchdown. And the Tigers headed back to the college football playoff.
Baker Mayfield sealing the Heisman Trophy.
Committee made a statement. Yeah. The 4 best teams out of here.
Here we go, the playoff semifinal. Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. First ever double overtime in the history of the Rose Bowl.
Sony Michel will send the Dogs home to the championship game. Clemson and the tie. Ryan pressure. Big boy Deron Payne with the ball. Story for the and Alabama gets the win.
College football mecca, Atlanta, to neighboring states, hungry for that beautiful trophy. The Dogs barking in the first half. Tagovailoa. Touchdown! And the Tide are back in it for the national championship. No! Hooked it!
Overtime.
Fire to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins! A huge salute to our production crew. So proud to bring you this unforgettable punctuation to the college football season. In the midnight hour, in overtime, it's the Crimson Tide with the season's final word. One more time.